Welcome to Pedal of the Day. Right, at the top of the pedal we have the 9-volt power section to power the unit. If you're using batteries, there's actually a screw at the bottom here. Unscrew that, this top will pop off and you can replace the battery. Now if I press on it and power the unit on, if you're using a battery and this red light starts to fade, that is an indicator that you need to replace the battery. Now the mode knob on the right hand side of the unit there, that indicates whether you're using it as a noise gate, so reduction, or on mute mode, which will prevent any sound from coming through. And this red light indicates that the mute or reduction service on this pedal is in action. Right, the decay knob in the middle here sets the time needed for the sound to fade out when the input signal becomes lower than the threshold level. So if you rotate the knob clockwise, the decay time becomes longer. So what I would suggest is play around with it and set it to a level which is satisfactory for your situation. The threshold knob at the left hand side of the unit here actually brings in the noise gate. The more you turn it to the right, the more the gate will cut off. You need to use this knob in conjunction with the decay knob to the right of it, and then keep on turning to the right. If you go too far and it's starting to choke the sound, turn it to the left a bit until you find the right level for your situation. Okay, so this pedal is, I think a few people get tripped up by it because it's got 4 jack sockets, 2 to the right, 2 to the left here, and it can seem a little complicated, so I'll go through how it actually works. So the input here is actually coming from my tuner. So I've got a tuner before this pedal and it's going into the input there. Below it, return, this is the one that tends to trick a lot of people, and this is coming out of here. And at the end of the chain of pedals that I have a Joyo California Sound amp in a box pedal, and the output of that pedal is coming back in to the return of the NS2. So the final pedal in the chain comes back into the return of this pedal. That's very important that that happens. The send, so the lower output here, the send, goes from the pedal into your next pedal in the chain, in this case Bayang X Drive. And then finally the output of a pedal will go into the front of your amp, or it will in this case go into my Focusrite interface. If you're enjoying watching this video, please consider smashing that like button and subscribing to my channel so that I can keep on bringing this free content. Right, okay, so this is my chain and I'm going from a Moore tuner into the NS2, then from there into the X Drive by Bayang, then into a Pure Sky overdrive, then into a Boss G7 EQ pedal, and then at the end of the chain, as I discussed before, I'm going into the Joyo California Sound amp in a box pedal, and then the output of that is going into the return of the NS2. The reason I have EQ before the final pedal is that some people are afraid of losing some high end because Boss pedals have buffers, and so if I need to, I can actually push some high end back into the sound prior to going into the amp. That is if I feel that there's the necessity to do that. So that's the chain I'm using. Right, so I have the noise suppressor on at the moment, and it's on this channel in Reaper. And I'm going to turn the noise suppressor off in a moment, and in this channel here, this reading, just watch to see what it is actually doing to prevent the noise from coming through. So I'll take the noise suppressor out and you'll see what it's preventing from coming through. Okay. And the noise suppressor is back on, and you could see the level and what the noise suppressor is actually doing. Okay, so after my pedal chain, which you've seen, I'm going into my DAW Reaper, and in Reaper I have this channel here. The sound is coming in through here, and on that channel I have this plugin by Neural DSP, and I'm not using the amp because I've already got a pedal amp in use, but what I am doing is I'm using the microphones and cabinet simulation of this plugin. So using the IRs, so I'm using a 421 pan hard left and a 160 ribbon mic pan hard right. Then after that I also have this reverb pedal on just to give a little bit of ambient so it's not totally dry. Now remember what I said about the EQ before the amp pedal. If you didn't have that possibility, then within this particular plugin, and you could put it after the fact or even before the IRs, you could have a digital simulation, and I could increase the high end here if I wanted to bring back any loss from the buffers. Okay, so that is an alternative if need be. All right, and I'll just give you a quick audio example now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Sabs out.